Okay, 17th of December 2024. So Adrian's daily vlog, sharing smart stuff men should know. Travel Tuesday. Travel. Explore. The more complex the adventure, the more unique and life-changing it could be. So over this year, I've had a few interesting adventures. I've had a nice road trip around Isle of Man and Ireland, both Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland, climbing mountains, 3 mountains. And then I had a 2-month adventure in Latin America, 1 month in Ecuador, and then another month in El Salvador. Both of which, for different reasons: adventure, travel, exploration, the world, conquer mountains, see more, understand more, witness, understand, and beyond. And I suddenly realized that the more complex the adventure was, because as a few days after I landed in Ecuador, I felt very proud of myself that I put the time, energy, momentum, effort, hustle, hassle, both hustle and hassle, into being there. And I realized that the more unique the adventure is, the more logistics needed, more challenging, more outlandish, more unique, more difficult, more pieces that need to line up together, the more of a logistical challenge it is, the organising the route, the places, the times, destinations, the tickets, the trains, the places, the locations, everything, daylight savings, you name it, the currency, the people, the place, logistics, the banks, everything, the insurance and beyond. All of these things, the more challenging it is, the more unique it's going to be. And then the more unique it's going to be, you could argue the more life-changing it could be, has the potential to be. Going down the road, that takes no time whatsoever. Just walking down there for 5 minutes, put your shoes on and get going. That's an adventure because you're going outside in the world, but it's not very complex. So the less complex it is, the less unique it will be, therefore less likely to be life-changing. But the more complex it is, going to Ireland, I had to organise 3 flights, and I had 3 flights, 2 car rentals, about 5 Airbnb. Wait, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Airbnbs, 5 or 6 Airbnbs. Really? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 6 Airbnbs. 6 Airbnbs, and a train as well. And then Latin America was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 flights. 5 flights, 2 Airbnbs. That's quite insane. Because the longer that chain of events, all those flights, the car rentals, the Airbnbs, if one thing messes up here, has a knock-on effect elsewhere. And the further away that is from that point, the more drastic and impactful it'll be. You miss by an inch, you miss by a mile. And it's that level of organisation, that level of planning to go there and climb those 3 mountains resulted in more life-changing, the more amazing it is, and then the more unique the lesson is. For example, Ireland left the UK a man, came back a champion. That's how I felt. Quite unique. And then Latin America is a different interesting, different lesson. You have to be made of steel to do stuff in life. And those are life-changing events that could only have really uncovered by actually doing these things. Because in life, sometimes there's a thing where you have to just do it. The logic or the maths or the reasoning and everything else is so evenly split. It's one of those things where you've just got to do it. Or what's the compelling reason to go? Well, for the adventure, for the difficulty, for the uniqueness of it. I was planning to go somewhere else in Serbia, between Serbia and Croatia, Lieberland. I did a video about this. I was tempted to go in 2024. But I was like thinking, well, maybe not in the end, no, because the logic, there was not much reason for it. But for the adventure, it would have been amazing. It would have been very unique. It would have been quite profound. Yeah, it would have been very unique indeed. But hey, there's always next year. There's always another time, who knows. But that's quite interesting. And I noticed that the more complex it was, organising all these things, and it took days and days and weeks to organise Ireland. Looking back, I mean, it could be organised over a weekend, I guess, and not wasting time. And then that would have been benefited and would have been played out over 3 weeks of actually physically moving in the world. And that would have been life-changing. Seeing these new places, organising these new things, going here, reading this, reading that. I remember being in the airport at Isle of Man, in the waiting room, and there was this document that was there, airport securities thing, and I read it and I gleaned one or two things from it. And that knowledge, that cost of discovery, I did a video about that as well in the past. By doing these things, you learn and realize things you may not have been able to discover elsewhere. Or you'd have learned these life lessons today as opposed to 1 year from now. And that saves time. Very important. So the more unique the adventure, the more grandiose, difficult, elaborate, complex, logistically speaking, whatever else, the more unique it's going to be, the more life-changing it's going to be. Imagine going and flying to spend a week in Greece, for example, a week in Greece, and then flying again to spend a week in, it doesn't matter where, Egypt, let's pick a place, and going then to say Abu Dhabi for a week as well, then going to Singapore for a week. That's a lot of moving around, but wow, you will see all kinds of unique things and witness all kinds of unique, amazing stuff in those 3-4 or so weeks. The larger the more complex the adventure, the more unique it'll be, because you're doing loads of things, and the more life-changing it could be, which is powerful. And then you could say, well, you got no regrets. You did stuff. You had this idea, and you had this idea, rather than cowering in fear or whatever it is, you actually went out in the world and did stuff. And that's the big lesson I learned in Latin America as well. This, be a man of steel, made of steel. Where I want that, and go out there and make it happen. That's powerful. Very, very powerful. Yes. So the more unique the adventure, more challenging, more complex, the more unusual it is, the more unique it will be, and the more life-changing it could be. That's very, very powerful. But otherwise, Adrian's Daily Vlog, sharing smart stuff men should know. Subscribe for more, and you will see me tomorrow.